Hey guys, Morgan from Rebellious Reading, where we talk about all things books. And today, we're going to be doing my first video on this channel, which is the Booktube Newbie Tag. So, let's get started with the first question, which is, why did you start this channel? Well, I started this channel because I've always wanted to do something on YouTube. I've been a fan of YouTube since I was 12. And I actually started my first channel in 2019. And that's my music channel, Rebellious Reviewer, which I will link in the description. On that channel, I talk about all things music. But lately, I've also been getting into books a whole lot, so I wanted to do another channel where I talked about books. That pretty much sums up why I created this channel. Because, hey, I was originally actually going to do both of them on one channel, both music and books. But then I realized that the music critic YouTube and Booktube don't really have much of a similar audience, so I decided to just do two separate channels. Question number 2. What are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? Well, I am planning on doing a series where I assign a book to every song on an album. I know Gabby Reeds does that with Taylor Swift albums, but I'd like to do it with a variety of artists, because seriously, why are Taylor Swift fans the only music fans that are creative? Why? Yeah, tangent aside, that's the unique thing I'm bringing to Booktube, along with probably some other things. Question number 3. What are you most excited for about your new channel? I'm excited to talk about books, maybe make some new friends, and of course I'm excited to do the series I mentioned in the last question, among other things. Question number 4. Why do you love reading? I love reading because it helps me escape, basically. I'm kind of a dreamer. I spend a lot of time in my head, and I'm not very satisfied with how the world actually is, so escaping into another world created by a book is just amazing to me, and it also helps me learn to empathize with people. In case you don't know, I'm mildly autistic, so I have a hard time getting in other people's heads, and I'm not very good at reading people or understanding social rules. And reading books actually helps me understand people a little better. And question number 5 is, what book or series got you into reading? The series that got me into reading is the Percy Jackson series. Up until that point in my life, I'd been reading nothing but little kid books. And usually I had someone else read to me up until that point. And then one day I just picked up a Percy Jackson book and started reading it on my own. It was great, and I found it was surprisingly easy. So yeah, Percy Jackson, series that got me into reading. The next question is, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? 1. How can you handle playing a TBR game every month? I tried doing that with my music, books, movies, shows, and video games on my main channel, Rebellious Reviewer, and let's just say it didn't end well. And 2, I would also like to ask them, what are some good tips for starting on Booktube, obviously. The next question is, what challenges do you think will be the hardest to overcome for this channel? Well, for this, I think the hardest challenge will be balancing my Booktube channel with my music YouTube channel. Because seriously, running 2 channels is a lot of work, and also, I think it'll be kind of hard to keep myself from being burned out, because that happens a lot on my music channel, which again will be linked in the description if you want to check it out. The next question is, when did you start reading? I started reading from a young age. My mom usually read to me a lot when I was a kid, but then when I was 9 years old, I finally started reading on my own and became confident in it. Yeah, I guess I was somewhat of a late bloomer there. Then there's the next question, which is, where do you read? I read in front of the computer mostly, though sometimes I also read in my bed. Yeah, mainly in front of the computer though, so I can have some nice background music, because my house is loud and I don't want a bunch of noises distracting me. I'd rather have dungeon synth, ambient, or post-rock playing. And then the next question is, what kind of books do you like to read? I like to read all sorts of things. My favorite genre is fantasy, but I also enjoy horrors, thrillers, science fiction, contemporary, literary fiction, and I've kind of been getting into romance recently. So yeah, a little bit of everything. And finally, what does your book collection look like? My book collection is a jumbled mess that's spread all over my house, with some books that I'm currently reading, some that I'm going to read, some that I haven't read since I was a kid. I have a massive book collection. In fact, let me show you what I'm reading right now. Hang on. First time I've walked off camera. White Fang by Jack London. This book I got from my mom, I think. I have no memory of us getting it, but she says she got it at half-price books for me when I was a kid. And now I'm finally reading it. Yay! Anyway, that's my Booktube Newbie Tag. I'm Morgan from Rebellious Reading, signing off.